Hey guys, it's Graveyard Graham. Welcome back to the Midnight Ride, and with a little bit of luck, I think things might finally be returning to normal. Even though daylight savings just started and I had 1 hour of my life sucked away. Just insane that in this highly polarized political climate, we still can't get either side to say, yes, we're going to get rid of this stupid archaic thing that benefits nobody and that everybody hates. Yeah, but I know a guy who's in favor of daylight saving. You know an idiot. That person is an idiot. Anyway, over the weekend, I got a little bit of streaming TV time in, between other things. I finished the outline for Answerable Courage. And so the hard drafting part will begin post-haste. Very pleased with what that's going to look like. Oh, gas is coming down again. That's good. What are the shows that I watched? Well, I signed up again, like I said, for Disney, and I've got Daredevil, specifically for Daredevil. So the first two episodes of Daredevil Born Again started. I reviewed it over on Cracker Stack. I just watched the first episode and wrote up my thoughts on it. And so you can find the link to the stack in the description there. A brief summary here is that I think they've made some good first steps with this one. It sounds like this is one of the projects that they shot once, it tested like garbage, and so they rewrote it and reshot it. And based on the first episode of this show, is like, okay, I get the impression that there was definitely somebody that came in and said, whatever you're doing sucks, and here's what we're going to do instead, because it just comes right out of the gate swinging. It's following the continuity from the Netflix show, but you can tell that there's some hard shifts, some hard changes as they adapt it to fit into the MCU. And they're also doing what they can to repair what was done to the Kingpin character in the Hawkeye show and in Echo. I did not watch Echo, so I don't have strong opinions about that. I understand that he was a character in it and that he was supposed to have some strong connection to Echo, and she ended up making a split from him. Echo also factored into the Hawkeye show, and Kingpin got shot in the face in that one, so it's like, I don't think they really knew what the hell they were doing with Kingpin in Hawkeye, but they didn't want to kill him off. Obviously, they had him in Echo, and now it's like, okay, well, we handled him poorly twice. Let's get back on track. Let's do what we can. We're just going to pay whatever lip service we need to those previous outings with the character, so that we can handle him properly here. The tenor of the first two episodes is that Kingpin and Daredevil are both trying to turn over a new leaf, but with the challenges that they face, how quickly will they regress to their previous forms? Spoiler, 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 spoiler. Here's your spoiler warning. One more spoiler warning. Right in the first couple of minutes of the show, Foggy gets killed. Matt Murdock's best friend gets killed. And Karen ends up leaving New York and going to San Francisco and starting over there. So his two best friends that he got in the old Netflix show, they're heading off to other places, and he's got his own firm now with a different legal aid, and he's just trying to figure out life. He's a guy who's trying to put certain things in the past behind him, but the challenge is what it is. As I also mentioned on the Substack, they're definitely using Kingpin as an allegory for Trump. A guy with a troubled criminal past and divided public opinion comes back to run for mayor of New York City. And I thought that this was going to be a story beat that they dragged out for a couple of episodes. Like, oh, we're going to see him campaign, we're going to see the election. Like, no, he goes from making his comeback to declaring his candidacy to winning the election all in the first episode. So it's like, okay, cool. They're hurrying into that because the story is more about him trying to take control of New York and fix it, and that's consistent with what he was trying to do all the way back in season 1 of Daredevil. In fact, I remember that being a complaint, people saying like, well, what's his villainy arc really? Like, all he's trying to do, it seems like, is gentrify and revitalize Hell's Kitchen. And it's like, well, with this particular treatment of Kingpin on the show, that's kind of been his whole thing. He wants to take control of Hell's Kitchen so that he can make it work the way that he wants to. He was doing that with mob tactics in seasons 1 through 3 of Daredevil. He was out in the wilderness for Hawkeye and Echo, and now he's coming back. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to try it a different way. I've got my money all laundered and stuff. He's just got a different set of problems. It's not that he's an anti-hero. It's that he is a product of his upbringing and of his environment, and he knows a certain way of being, and he's trying to not be the violent, evil guy that he's been before, but you can see hints of that breaking through his will and rising back to the surface. In the same way, you see Daredevil you see Matt Murdock trying to put Daredevil behind him, but by the end of the second episode, it's like Daredevil's fighting to come back out again. It's can these men, beat their natures, or are they really their alter egos trying to pretend to be Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk? And this is just kind of how you handle a superhero story. It's, who are you really? What are your highest values? What are your goals? What are you pursuing, and how are you getting there? We're only 2 episodes in. It is Disney Marvel. They could still crash the ship, but I think they know at this point that they need to right the ship and they need to make better entertainment under the Marvel brand, and that's why they reshot this thing to begin with. And I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic, and hopefully Born Again kind of gets the tenor going the right way. As far as content warning, they're being even more cavalier with the profanity in this one than they were in the Netflix show. There was the odd F-bomb here or there that snuck in under the radar, whereas in this one, they're like, no, we are a mature show. We're going to say F a couple of times in an episode, and the violence will be the violence. So be warned on that front. The 4th episode of Reacher, Season 3, also aired, and I'm pretty sure I am driving behind a drunk driver right now, so I am going to switch lanes when I get a chance. And that show it's a masterclass in just being fine. Like you're going to a fast food place, and you know what you're ordering, and you know that it's not a filet mignon, but it's consistent, and that's that. Season 4, or episode 4, had a little bit more to offer than the last episode. But this show has established itself as like, hey, we're going to introduce a problem in the first episode, and then every episode is going to more or less consistently ratchet up the intensity and continue to stack the problems until Reacher finds the biggest guy that he has to punch as hard as he can at the very end and solve the problem and save the day. Like, it's just reliable male power fantasy. He's digging himself in deeper. He might be getting in trouble more and more, and we'll see what happens from there. My only problem with this so far is that, people need to learn to drive better, but that's not a problem with Reacher. My only problem is that he's going under deep cover to reach a guy that he thought he killed before but survived and is now at the top of this evil criminal empire. And he's doing so under his own name, under Jack Reacher. How does this big evil bad guy not hear that, hey, your toady subordinate guy who owns this business that you're using as a front for your gun running, he just hired a guy named Jack Reacher? Like, how does Xavier Quinn not know that, oh crap, that's the guy that shot me in the face 8 years ago? Yeah, weird. We'll see how that plays out. There are 4 episodes left. But yeah, it's a little bit predictable, but it's still reliably entertaining. It's like a show that's on HBO or Cinemax, though, where it's like, oh, this is on a premium channel, a premium service. You've got to pay extra to access this. And they say big grown-up words, and they show some things that you can't get away with on TV. So the writing must also be on par with something of much higher quality. It's like, no, it's quality-wise, this is a network television show, all right? It's like watching NCIS, but the main character is a bodybuilder who's never wrong. And, on the flip side, there's a female lead who admits that she was wrong about something. It's like, yeah, this is just, it's male fantasy. It's fine. It's great. It's why we like it. It's reliable. Hallmark movies for dudes. So that's episode 4 of Reacher, first 2 episodes of Daredevil, and it's just feels good to be entertained. I've got some reading on deck for this week. Make sure you check the main channel for that. I got to finish Mech Bunny by, excuse me, Anya Virden, and I got a few others on deck. And like I said, I'm reading Mockingjay too. Oh, geez. So I've got a pressure sensor in my wheel that's going to keep going in and out of functionality. It's like, oh, you got a flat tire. No, I don't. It's just, it stops reading pressure at a certain rate. Anyway, none of you cares about that, and I don't blame you. Drive safe. See you out there.